guys, welcome back to the channel. I'm Office Bloke Daz.
I'm Office Bloke Mike.
Here we are, the two of us.
Yeah, here we are.
Discussing a bit of Caitlin Clark again.
Bit of Caitlin, yeah. Big story at the moment.
She's a big name at the moment. Try to sort of like push the WNBA onto the larger scale. Then I'll bring it up to
certainly shining a big spotlight on it at the moment, isn't it?
Big time.
Which some people don't seem overly keen on for some reason.
The people who don't seem overly keen on it are the ones that are playing against her or even playing with her in the sport, who use her as a vehicle, I'd say, and try and take it into the next level and benefit from it.
Which
ride the wave.
Doing. Yeah, absolutely. Ride the wave and make it more popular, and everyone will sort of like be able to feed off it.
There's certain sports where you watch them and all of a sudden someone comes through and you think, oh, and it attracts you to them sports. One of probably not the best example, but what's his name did it in cycling. I know it all ended up going pear-shaped.
Yeah.
What's his name?
Cyclist
Max.
Yeah.
Lance Armstrong.
Lance Armstrong.
Yeah. He did it, but he went, obviously in the end it's all turned out bad, but it's shone a big spotlight on cycling.
It did,
and kind of highlighted a lot of the problems that was in cycling.
It can get people into cycling and just help the sport grow, can't it? It just can.
But there's certain people, Usain Bolt got sprinting going, where you've got tennis players that over the years that have sort of like brought the tennis right up to the next level. Yeah. It's like very entertaining. And I think Caitlin Clark's one of them that does it for the WNBA for me.
You can even say for men's basketball, you get certain stars in there like LeBron and Michael Jordan, all the players out there. There's always one that comes around every generation where it really brings in
you see now with the NBA now, you've got 4 or 5 mega stars in the NBA at the moment who are like all real top end players. And but she's doing it into the WNBA where the other players around her should look at it and go, we need her as a vehicle. She's the one that's going to take us to the levels of money. Earning money, sponsorships, TV time,
couldn't be
global spectators, global fans.
In a way, it's a shame. It seems to be just her that there's not another 4 or 5 or 6 like in the men's game where it can be, where the spotlight, because the spotlight's so much on her. I think that's where a lot of the jealousy is probably coming from.
There is a lot of jealousy.
If there's a few more in there, then it probably dissipate a little bit. But
let's get into this because she's not been accepted into the Olympic team.
Oh, really?
So,
Wow, I've not seen that.
So let's get into this. Caitlin Clark got kicked off the Team USA because of this.
Yeah. Caitlin Clark was cut from USA's Olympic roster. She will not be going to Paris for the Olympic Games this summer, and I can't decide what's worse. The missed opportunity to grow the women's game on a global scale, or the insane reason for excluding Clark from this team. Don't let them lie to you. Caitlin Clark should 110% be on this team. And everybody thought she would be. Clark was invited to training camp. She was one of just 14 players that were. And for everybody that's going to say the Team USA Olympic roster should be reserved for the 12 best players, the oldest tradition in USA basketball is to include a college basketball player as a way to acknowledge the previous amateur system. Examples of this are Christian.
I was going to say, I think Anthony Edwards was a college basketball player when he went to the...
Oh, really?
Yeah, I think so. We might mention his name in this if they're highlighting some of these.
Right. Leitner on the Dream Team, Emeka Okafor in 2004, Anthony Davis in 2012, and the USA Women's Team upholds this trend too. Diana Taurasi and Brianna Stewart both made Olympic teams before playing in the WNBA. For 1 second, let's forget the hype. Caitlin Clark, the basketball player, as the all-time leading scorer in the NCAA and #1 pick in the WNBA draft, more than fit the criteria to be selected. So for anybody who tries to say the reason she isn't there is because she isn't a top 12 player in the WNBA, that's nonsense because she doesn't have to be. The news that Clark has been cut comes the day after she had the best game of her WNBA career, set the record for most three-pointers made in a single game by a rookie, while also drawing 20,000 plus fans, the highest attendance for a game ever in the WNBA's history. Wow. 2024 has been the year that people finally started caring about women's basketball. The growth over this last year not so long ago seemed impossible. If I told you a few years ago that more people would watch the women's NCAA final than the men's, you wouldn't believe me. But it happened, and it was because of Caitlin Clark. Wow. She's the reason the WNBA is peaking right now, from ratings, crowds, attention, coverage. The league has never been more popular than it is right now. And with Team USA this summer, it was the perfect opportunity to promote the women's game on a global scale. The same way Michael Jordan, Larry Bird, Magic Johnson and the 1992 Dream Team changed the world's perception on basketball and made millions of people become fans of the sport. The 2024 Women's USA team, starring Caitlin Clark, could have done the same. Do you know how many international hoops fans have never got to see a game on TV because of time zones? Do you know how many fans dream of watching their favourite players play in person, and the only chance they ever get to do so is on the off chance Team USA happens to play a game in their country? Caitlin Clark is becoming a global star. There will be fans in France who will never go to the United States and will never have a chance to see her play, who should have and could have had the opportunity to do so this summer, but won't for the most stupid reasons. Caitlin Clark is the face of not just the WNBA and women's basketball, but I'd say she's the most popular American basketball player, male or female, right now. Only 3 NBA teams had more nationally televised games this season than the Indiana Fever. The Warriors, Lakers and Suns. So Curry, LeBron and KD. Other than the big 3, it's just CC. None of the young American stars like Ant, Ja, whoever move the needle like Caitlin Clark does, making this a unique moment in history because women's basketball has our attention right now. The question is, can they keep it?
How many kids do you think go around now? I mean, I see it when you go around like Manchester, or you go around London, or anywhere in the UK, or when you go different places. How many kids in the USA would want a Caitlin Clark basketball jersey? I want Clark's name on the back. I want an Indiana Fever 22 shirt.
Exactly.
But how many shirts do you think you'd sell? I don't know who does it. I'm assuming it's going to be Nike who provides the shirts for the basketball teams when they go to Paris. I'm just assuming that, by the way.
Yeah,
might be wrong. But how many shirts do you think you'd sell to the kids with Caitlin Clark's name on it?
Oh,
more than anyone else who's going into that on that team.
Oh, massively.
Think of merchandising, global. It'd be the face of basketball.
Yeah, exactly.
Not just women's basketball. It'd be the face of basketball.
And like they say, it's worldwide as well.
She's a phenomenon. You know, it's come through the sport, and everybody wants to know. Everybody wants to see. I'm not lying here. If women's basketball came to the UK or came to Manchester, I'd go and watch it.
Yeah.
I'd 100% go. To be fair though, if men's basketball came and I'd go and watch, if in Manchester, I'd go and watch it.
Yeah.
If it goes to London, I'm like, nah, I can't be asked.
Yeah,
it's too far. It's too far to go. I've got other shit I can do more local and stuff like traipsing down there. And it's not just going to London. I know it's only 200 miles away, but it's just the whole fucking drama that has to go to getting into London and getting around London. It's a shit pit. But at the same time, if they come to the Co-op Live, for example, or the AO Arena and played, I'd definitely go and see it.
Yeah.
Would I go and see it if Caitlin Clark wasn't there?
Probably not. It'd be interesting to see what the reasons are then. For not going, has she just not been picked, or are they coming up with some sort of excuse? You know,
let's see.
Will we look back many years from now and say this was where it all started, or is this a wave, a moment in time that's going to come and pass? We don't know yet, but what we do know is this is a massive opportunity for the women's game, because women's basketball has now what it's always been missing: a face, an individual that people care to watch and see. You would think the most logical thing to do is capitalise, strike while the iron is hot, and do everything to push and uplift this individual for the greater good of the sport. Clearly the WNBA and now USA Basketball disagree, because we've all seen and heard interviews of WNBA players past and present talking about Caitlin and coming across jealous and envious of the attention she's been receiving. At first it was just words, but then we started seeing this animosity on the court, and Clark being physically targeted by WNBA players and subjected to hard fouls that were quite obviously personal attacks. The WNBA so far have done a poor job of protecting Caitlin, and it seems as if from the outside there's a lot of catering going on to the older disgruntled WNBA players who aren't so happy about all the hype. And that has been proven now, because according to reports, the real reason that Caitlin Clark has been left off Team USA isn't because she isn't good enough, it has nothing to do with talent or fit, but rather, quote, because Team USA veterans were concerned about how Clark's millions of fans would react to her receiving limited playing time on a stacked roster. What? According to sources, this was a huge factor in the decision to exclude her from the list. Who are these anonymous veterans? I want names. But looking at this roster, I'm pretty sure we can put 2 and 2 together and figure it out. Apologies if I'm jumping the gun, but Diana Taurasi, she's a 5-time Olympic gold medalist with Team USA, and because of her experience and status, she may be influential enough to have a say in this type of thing. And we all know she's no fan of Caitlin Clark. Never has she ever said anything positive about her, and this is the best example right here.
I'm taking Paige. Next question. So you get the #1 pick this year, you would take Paige over Caitlin?
Absolutely.
Obviously, Deanna played for UConn, so her siding with Paige is no surprise. If she'd said that, there wouldn't be an issue. There's also no issue in thinking Paige is a better prospect, but she didn't elaborate or give any analysis or reasoning behind her conclusion, despite being on TV for her expertise in analysis. She basically just dismissed Clark entirely and brushed off the comparison as if it was a debate not even worth having. And it's not the only time she's spoken about Caitlin Clark and had nothing nice to say.
Reality is coming. You know, you look superhuman playing against 18-year-olds, but you're going to come with some grown women that have been playing professional basketball for a long time.
And by the way, Sue Bird sitting right next to her may have said all the right things.
So salty, right?
I know, it's absolutely pathetic.
It is. Jealousy
really
is like proper. In this situation, you've got opportunity to ride that bandwagon.
Yeah.
Get on it.
I know, exactly.
Yeah. What's wrong with you?
For the good of the sport, it's just so it's selfish and spiteful. It's absolutely incredible.
How many girls do you think you're going to push into playing the sport as well?
Yeah.
By using a good role model. Don't know why sitting there going, she's not that good anyway. People think, well, maybe I'm not that good then.
Well, it's just going to put people off, and they're going off the reaction as well. They're thinking, well, I'm a good player. If I get in there, are they going to treat me like that as well?
Yeah, bad, bad.
Absolutely terrible.
Jealousy's horrible, right? And that's all this is, pure jealousy.
Yeah, it is.
About Caitlin on Twitter, but she didn't defend her on television when Deanna said this. I wouldn't be surprised if she was either scared of Deanna and just goes along with whatever she says, or deep down she actually feels the same way, but said supportive things on social media afterwards to avoid backlash. Unfortunately, they aren't the only high-profile WNBA players on this USA roster to say things like this. Brianna Stewart and Brittany Griner said similar things also.
Does Caitlin Clark need a championship to be considered one of the greats in women's college basketball history?
Yeah, she does.
Now that you've heard that, listen to how NBA legends like LeBron James, Steph Curry and Kevin Durant talk about Victor Wembanyama, the young guy who recently came into the NBA with all the hype and buzz. Tell me if you notice a difference.
Yeah, he's like the 2K creative player.
I think everybody's been a unicorn over the last few years, but he's more like an alien.
That type of talent and skill, and it just puts a smile on your face if you play basketball, you know?
He has the chance to be one of the best to ever play this game.
The NBA stars support and uplift.
Right? Yeah.
They don't try to diminish or downplay or put limitations on what Victor can and can't do. Clearly the WNBA players we mentioned don't like Clark. For whatever reason, you can tell me. But it's not just the players, it's the coach too. Cheryl Reeve is head coach of the USA women's basketball team, and she's also head coach of the Minnesota Lynx, and she's been on Twitter making comments and complaining about how Caitlin Clark centered the WNBA's coverage has been. I'm sorry, are they not supposed to promote the league's most popular player? It really wouldn't surprise me at all if she, for this reason, chose to exclude Clark from Team USA, so that the attention was on the other players for a change. But the problem is, without Clark, there isn't attention on any other player, because as proven by every other Olympics in history, the masses aren't tuning in. This whole thing to me is a formal admission of what people have speculated all along. They are envious and they are jealous, and honestly, I think the fact that they've conspired against Caitlin is one of the most selfish things these players could do, and it makes them raging hypocrites. For years, WNBA stars have complained about people not supporting the women's game. All of that has changed, and they still have a problem. Why? Is it because they're not the reason for the attention? Because they're getting the attention they wanted. It doesn't matter why people are watching. Do they not realise that if millions of people watch Caitlin Clark play for USA this summer, it means millions of people are watching them and the other 9 players on the court? It's no understatement to say that this is a lifetime opportunity for women's basketball. 4 years from now in 2028, you never know, the window might have closed. The Caitlin Clark hype might have died down by then and the WNBA could be irrelevant. If that does happen, you know who to blame. The older generation of WNBA stars who let their feelings get in the way of the league's best interests and sabotage this opportunity for the next generation. Do they not realise Caitlin Clark's popularity is the best thing to ever happen to women's basketball? Because it gives them a platform to make a name for themselves too. She grew women's college basketball, and even though she's no longer at Iowa, I guarantee you if Juju Watkins and Paige Beckers play in the 2025 NCAA tournament final, I bet that'll be watched by more people than any other NCAA women's tournament final other than the ones Clark was involved in. The same way many years from now, a lot of these WNBA fans who originally came for Caitlin and support the Fever right now will in the process become fans of the WNBA, find other players and teams they like and continue watching when she retires. The NBA was built the same way. A lot of people came for Magic and Bird, stayed for Michael Jordan, and have been NBA fans ever since. Caitlin Clark grew the NCAA, is growing the WNBA, and would have done the same for USA Basketball, who despite...
Yeah, it's a bit like what we were saying before about, like in our football, soccer, you always get a generational talent, don't you, that comes through. You know, you've had your Pelés, your Maradonas over the years, your Zidanes, and your Ronaldos and Messis. There's always like a top player that comes through that does draw people in, draws kids in, get into the actual sport, doesn't it? Yeah. And then they go out and look at other players, see other players. Yeah. It's exactly the same thing that could happen here. Like
we got one now. We got one now coming through. His name's Phil Foden, and the manager was playing. The manager's the only one in the world that doesn't see that he's the best player we've got. He must sort of like just keep can't see him because he's only small. Can't see him.
Yeah. Oh, there he is. I'll put him on the left wing.
Put him on the wing. Yeah, put him in a position where he doesn't normally play.
Yeah. What, playing in a position where he won the treble and where he had his best season ever? Yeah. No, we'll put him somewhere else.
Well, even the top players have all said he's the best player that's ever seen. That manager doesn't see it.
Yeah, it's bizarre.
He's that good of a manager. Really he doesn't see it.
Yeah. But these people out here, it's just chalk and cheese. The action of the guys and the women.
I think when you look at American sports, right, and I follow quite a lot of American sports, not massively, but I follow it like with an interest, so like whether it be hockey, basketball, NFL, college basketball, whatever it may be. And I look at it, and you always got them, like you say, them generational talents. When NFL wasn't over here in the 80s. It was being brought over in the 80s. Yeah, it was relatively newish sport to British people. So what they did, they got players who they could look at in the NFL, put them over here and go, let's introduce them to the UK first and see if they can break the market into the UK to get fans from the UK or Europe, whichever way you look at it. And they brought over people like William Perry. The refrigerator, probably not one of the best players, but at the time, I remember at the time, iconic. Walter Payton, probably one of the best players that's played the game. Dan Marino, and they brought Dan Marino for his style, the way he played, and all that kind of stuff. Never won a Super Bowl, but so like had that influence.
Superstar, wasn't he?
They brought the players over that they know they could influence the market with. Right. That's what they're missing here. They're just fucking cutting the knot. It's bad. It really is bad.
The players you said there, they're the ones that got me into NFL. When I started showing it over here, and remember, Peyton, but especially the fridge. He was a back huge guy, wasn't he?
Refrigerator.
And then Dan Marino as well. Just names that stand out to me, and that is one of the reasons. I'm no expert, but that's why I started. That is what got me into it.
That's what takes you into it. And it's the same with baseball when they've done it, when they brought players over. You know, your Mark McGuire's or Sammy Sosa's sort of like coming in, getting people like to know a little bit about the game. Where you want the entertainment value. People want to watch. If you're not watching the sport, you want that entertainment value to come in with it. So you want someone like, you're not going to come and watch like, I don't know, like a kicker play NFL and watch how far he can kick it. You'll be like, who's arsed? I can watch that in rugby or football every week.
Exactly.
But you want someone coming in who's got the gob on him, who's a massive guy, or super fast, or can throw the ball so accurately. You're thinking, I like that.
Which is one of the reasons why in the US soccer version over there, where they started bringing people like Pele and Rodney Marsh and David Beckham and players that because people know them, so then they start watching it.
Well, no one bigger now than Messi. Look what Messi's done. He's attracting crowds wherever he goes. He's getting massive crowds
on the telly everywhere with it as well. And the WNBA needs as much publicity as they can get.
This is the one-time chance.
Some of these guys are looking so bad. It's pathetic.
When I look at some of their faces though, and they're all snide. They all look snide. You know what I mean? I mean, they're winning goals. That's fair. But who's going to compete with them? Let's face it. And that's why no one's asked watching it. The men's basketball in the Olympics, you watch it because France have got some decent players. Serbia got some decent players. Slovenia, you got a few. When you look at France, they've got some real good players. Sort of thing with Wemby and Gobert. People like that. You've got proper players that can cause an upset. When you look at the WNBA for the Olympics, have they got players that can cause an upset to the USA? Look how many gold medals they've won.
You wouldn't have thought so, would you?
They didn't win one in '92. I don't even know if they competed, but every year since then they won it. Won gold.
Exactly.
You know what I mean?
Like, no competition, is there?
Yeah.
Despite having not lost a game since 1992 and winning gold every single year, get no media coverage whatsoever. People like Diana and Brianna will be the first to tell you the reason for this is because they're women, but completely ignore the fact that the USA women's soccer team absolutely blows them out the water in terms of ratings and viewership. The truth is, USA women's basketball team is so dominant and so far ahead of the rest of the world, it really doesn't matter who they select. They are going to win gold, which makes this such a wasted opportunity because Caitlin Clark playing 10 to 15 minutes a night would in no way jeopardize their chances of winning gold and would only be beneficial to everyone involved. They'd be on television more, there'd be more fans in the arena, there would be more people talking about it and paying interest on social media. Now I know people are going to say what they always say when somebody gets snubbed. It's all fine saying who should be in, but who are you taking out? I'm not afraid to answer that question. I'm taking out Diana the Dinosaur Taurasi. She's 42 years old, well past her prime, and objectively speaking, Caitlin Clark is a better basketball player in 2024 than her. I'm also taking out Chelsea Gray, who's fresh off an Achilles injury and hasn't played basketball since last year. People will say this is overboard, but I'm replacing Gray with Clark, and Deanna's getting cut for Angel Reese or Cameron Brink, because if I'm Team USA, I'm using the Olympics as a platform to grow the 100%. Women's game and promote the next generation of stars to the world. That should be the priority above winning another gold medal, which, let's be honest, with Asia Wilson and Sabrina, you're still going to almost definitely win anyway. I understand some people are saying that for Caitlin Clark's career, sitting out might not be the worst thing. After all, she hasn't had any rest. Less than a month after the national championship game, she was already playing in the WNBA with no off season, no time off, no nothing. And people are rightfully concerned about her playing even more basketball after the WNBA season ends. I get that, but you can still just take her for the ride, play on the bench. Who cares if the fans are complaining about her not playing enough? Surely you'd rather the fans complain than fans don't care at all. In order to complain about something, you have to care to some degree. Nobody cares about Sue Bird, Diana Taurasi, Brianna Stewart winning another gold medal. That's not an opinion, that's a fact. Look at the ratings. I tell you what people would be interested in. Seeing Caitlin Clark and Angel Reese putting the rivalry aside and coming together to try and win gold for USA. Because say what you want, Angel Reese may not be the draw that Caitlin Clark is, but she has more pull than the likes of Diana Taurasi and a lot of other players on that USA squad. But Angel Reese isn't going to be on the squad, neither is Cameron Brink or any of the other rookies. Caitlin Clark, although she's been snubbed and excluded from the roster, but she is still a reserve. And as mentioned earlier, Chelsea Gray hasn't hooped in a long time. And in the event she can't play, which is very possible, Clark is one of the two reserves, being the like-for-like replacement at the guard position, will most likely take her spot. Meaning there's still a very high chance Caitlin Clark's on the plane to Paris. But there's also the possibility that after all this, she opts out and chooses not to play. Because why would you want to play on a team where players are trying to use their influence as senior players to keep you off the team? Correct. When you've done nothing but pay homage and respect to those who came before you? Maybe she would be better off waiting for the dinosaurs to dissolve a few years from now when she's not just the face of the WNBA but also in the prime of her career. The question is, by that point, will people still care? I'd like to think so, but you never know.
Don't get it twisted. Don't get it up. Caitlin Clark is the reason why a lot of great things is going to happen for the WNBA.
Share your thoughts down below in the comments.
Yep.
Puts it well there. The
guy. In a nutshell.
Yeah, I think a couple of things. What I'm noticing there is, number one, it looks like a massive clique.
Oh, it does hugely
in that basketball team, that national basketball team, and it looks like they're all old school mates. You know, even the only thing I can spot there is Gareth Southgate must be their manager. That's the only other thing I can spot by not taking your best player, or even if she is the best player, I don't know. You know, it's I've been watching a little bit of it, and she's putting records on the board, she's putting numbers on the board, right. But like you say, you've got this massive opportunity, and it's just that click needs breaking. Get rid of the coach, get rid of all the dinosaurs, like he says, and replenish it.
I like to say for publicity for the women's basketball, because like I said, they're going to win it anyway. Yeah, because they haven't lost a match since 1992. Yeah. So they're going to win the gold medal anyway. Yeah. So there's a 42-year-old there. What is the point of taking her? Get some of the younger people in there.
That's the arrogance. That's the arrogance of a clique.
Oh,
we're together. We're together. Let's see how many times we can do it. Probably do it again next time. She'll probably be 50 and still playing.
But it's just a selfish thing again, isn't it? Just doing it for herself sort of thing. But like I say, there's a clique there that's probably kept her out of it.
And the other side of it is if the girl does get injured and Caitlin Clark steps in for us to say, "No, I'm not bothering."
Yeah. But then she'll probably get stick for that from some of the players in there saying, "No, I can't believe she's turned it down."
She's turned it down now, but you weren't there in the first place.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, but they'll use it to their advantage. They'll twist it, won't they?
Needs a massive overhaul. There's a massive click there.
She must know that as well. But I mean, if she did get the call, would she think, well, what going to this? It'd be like going to Viper's Pit, won't it?
She should, be on holiday somewhere.
Yeah.
Get down to the Caribbean, get a bit of sun, chill out.
Yeah.
And then come back fresh for the next season.
I just hope she keeps on smashing it. I really do. It just make these people look even more stupid by the day.
Except you're getting the back in there of people like LeBron, Steph Curry, KD. They're all giving back in there. Sort of
and they're picking up the new guys coming into the NBA, aren't they? And say, they could be great players and this, that, and the other. Why wouldn't you do that?
It's absolutely bizarre. I mean, there's obviously these deeper roots towards it to what it is, but it's just that stinks of like clique and corruption on the national team. No. Well, good luck, Gareth Southgate, after you've got us knocked out of the Euros, managing that basketball team. Hope you guys enjoyed that. Let us know in the comments as well. Don't forget to like and subscribe. We'll see you on the next one.
Cheers.